How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are looking at a video by Sam Hoke, Dog Trainer. That's the name of his channel. If you like him and you know him, then go support him. I don't care. You don't have to support what I do. But today we are looking at a video of his training a reactive dog. Does your dog pull and bark at other dogs? This is a little Alaskan Klee. This is not the dog that's in question. But I'm going to be doing a review basically probably telling you the opposite of what this guy says, or I'm going to be clearing up the misinformation and straight up lies that a lot of these trainers tell you. So, if you already like this person, then go support them. I will never say not to you. If you like what I do, then I appreciate any support. I'm not saying this to be personal to anyone. I'm simply criticizing the information and trying to clear up, again, the basic lies that people tell you. I'm not trying to sell anything. So, if you're ready, then let's get started.
Most people make this mistake when they have a reactive dog. Can you spot the behavior I'm talking about?
Little baby.
We're training Relay. He's at the beginning of his 4-week board and train program.
Oh, lovely. 4-week board and train. If you have a reactive dog, board and train is not going to help you. It's going to make the dog compliant by using pain and force, most likely, and making the dog fearful of a correction. As we see this guy, they all proudly wear their, it looks like a walkie-talkie, but it's probably an e-collar, shock collar, handle, whatever. Maybe it's a walkie-talkie, I don't know, I don't care. He has a slip lead, it looks like, on this dog. And when you have a board and train, period, just for obedience, you're making your dog a robot. Hi, Herms. If you have it for a behavioral issue, and they use any kind of correction, prong collars, slip leads, choke chains, e-collars, shock collar, citronella collar, bark collar, star mark collar, if they use any tools that look like these, especially for reactivity, you're going to make your dog more unpredictable, because if they're reactive, it's for a reason. They're reacting out of fear. And so when you send them off to a trainer to train the dog for you, the dog is going to revert back to their old way, because you as the owners are not learning how to prevent your dog's behavior. You probably caused it, not purposely. Nobody purposely wants to make their dog reactive. I mean, there's, of course, cases, but if you're the one who causes it, you need to take accountability and fix it. And you owe it to your dog, at least I think so, to do it in as humane a way as possible, and to show your dog respect.
Right away, we identified a common issue with reactive dogs. Most owners with reactive dogs
So he's just choking the dog.
Immediately head to Google for answers, and Google tells them to use positive reinforcement and redirect their dog with treats. And once that fails, they get a trainer.
So the dog's choking now. And let's go back and hear what he said in one full sentence.
Board and train program, and right away we identified a common issue with reactive dogs. Most owners with reactive dogs immediately head to Google for answers, and Google tells them to use positive reinforcement and redirect their dog with treats.
And that is correct. If this guy says that is a problem, he is an idiot, he is untrained, he doesn't know, and he doesn't care. And I don't care what he says, what anybody says about him. He could train 10,000 dogs and all that. Great, good for him. The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject. It doesn't matter if 99.99% of the world agrees with it. If it's not necessary, it's not necessary. If you have reactivity, you should only be using and practicing positive reinforcement. That doesn't mean this purely positive only, blah, blah, blah. What I mean is, don't use corrective tools. Don't smack your dog in the face. Don't do a Caesar Milan. Don't try to correct that behavior. Redirection is key. I know this because I specialize in reactivity and aggression and dogs with resource guarding and dogs with a bite history. And now I work with the shelter. Not as a trainer, but I work with dogs there that have issues. And they get returned time and time again because people get them as a puppy, then they ruin them and mess them up as they get older, and they return them. Do not, in my humble opinion, if you care about your dog, show them respect that they deserve, and work with someone who has an education, a recent education in animal science that can help you with your dog, redirecting them, that doesn't use pain, force, fear, intimidation, choking your dog, because this will hide their outward reaction, and they're still going to feel it on the inside. The emotion is still there. The emotional response is still there. But now that they can't act out, they're a ticking time bomb. And eventually they're going to blow.
And once that fails, they get a trainer. This is the dog that was trained with positive reinforcement, and I can tell solely based on this behavior. Roulet sees another dog, barks and lunges at that dog, and immediately comes back looking for a treat. Roulet...
Okay, so that doesn't mean the method failed. It means the trainer and or owners, if they continued with that, had bad timing. Okay, so if I were to be working with this dog at this time, that's still better that the dog came back. I mean, the dog also comes back choking. He has his little treat pouch. He's not giving this dog treats, I guarantee it. Corrections work, but it's how you use them. How do they work? They cause pain, discomfort, fear, flooding. You don't need to use it. If I were working with this dog like I work with any other dog, I would have them on a harness, not a choking slip lead. And I would have them in a regular back clip harness, not even something that restricts their shoulders. They have full movement of their shoulders, not one of those like easy walks. I hate those. Something where they have, X harness, Y harness, whatever, where they can really move and stretch and pull and all that. And I would have them at whatever distance they need to be, standing calmly where they can see the other dog, but not react. And I would allow them to look at the other dog. Not staring. If they stare, then I'm going to move backwards and get their attention. Redirection. But if we can stand there and they can look at them and they can see the butterflies and make friends with worms and smell the grass and just chill and see another dog and then on their own time look at me, that's when I mark and reward. You don't have to mark with a click or anything or a yes where you could just reward. Marking makes it easier. That's how I do it. And we stay there until, I don't know, for a few, whatever, sessions, minutes, whatever. The dog tells me when they're ready to move on. Then we move a couple feet closer. We see the dog is fine. If at any point the dog reacts, then we go back. Because we move behind threshold. These trainers, all they ever do is put the dog way above threshold, which means the dog is way overstimulated, they're super amped up, they can't think, and then they correct them. That's not a training plan. That's I mean, you can call anything a training plan, but it's not a good training plan. It's not going to help the dog long term. You have to have the threat of punishment has to be greater than whatever it is the dog is looking at. And if, say, your slip lead doesn't work anymore, your dog will probably develop a crushed trachea or a collapsing trachea, like what happened to my Shiba. When he was young and I did stupid stuff like this, using a choke chain and a prong collar for 6 months made his reactivity worse because he's a Shiba and he demands respect, and he told me when I was doing it wrong and he redirected on me, which I deserved it, and I learned I don't need to do this nonsense. I don't need to listen to these stupid, uneducated trainers. And you know what? PetSmart helped my boy and myself, and they reinforced that you don't need to use this nonsense. If it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's not a chicken, not a squirrel, not an elephant, it's a duck. Or an AI image or of some sort of AI. But you don't need to use this nonsense. You don't need to even hire a trainer. Just work with your dog. The best advice I give anybody I work with: if it looks like you're rewarding for nothing at all, Your dog is just sitting there staring, looking at another dog. Not staring, but looking. Looking into space, whatever. Reward for that. Because that is not lunging, it's not barking, it's not reacting.
He has learned that he often gets rewarded immediately after reacting. He's scamming the system
So,
and
the dog sat, didn't get a reward. In fact, it cut. He could have rewarded the dog there. He waited it out, the dog sat, bam, reward there. You don't get to have quick results just because you want them. Stop acting entitled. I mean, this is not for the people who actually want to listen, and if you are listening, then it's not anything personal. You know, I can say in a way that's less blunt and rude, because I don't want to be just blunt and rude. But it takes time for this behavior to develop. It's going to take time to reverse this behavior or to counter condition it. And we're not fixing the dog. We're just changing behavior. This behavior is normal for the dog. Put yourself in your dog's exact position, and if you were nervous about something happening, say you're afraid of, I don't know, bears. I'm afraid of a bear, and there's a big grizzly coming towards you, and you're freaking out. And every time you freak out and say, no, 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 someone's popping on you with something.
taking advantage.
The dog is not taking advantage. This guy is just an idiot. He's just trying to, like, tell you that the dog is trying to outsmart you. Dogs are very smart. They outsmart you a lot. And they will take advantage. But in this case, the dog is not. The dog is only reinforcing, practicing a behavior they were taught and reinforced for. Hi, James. Come, my child. The dog is practicing a behavior that they were reinforced for. That's smart. Smart dog. The dog is smarter than the human because the human didn't realize what they were reinforcing. It doesn't mean anything bad. It doesn't mean the method failed. It's just human error. Okay, so you can teach your dog the wrong behavior, but you can also counter condition it and teach them, I'm not even going to say the right behavior, right or wrong, because it's just a behavior. And it's a behavior that is still natural to the dog, or natural for humans. That humans prefer a certain behavior over the other.
When he chooses to make the right decision, not after he's already made the wrong decision. So when Roulet is about to react, I give him the opportunity to make the right decision.
No, meaning he gives him the opportunity to make a mistake so he can correct it. That's really what he's doing. He says, I give him the opportunity to make the right. No, if you're actually working with a dog with reactivity or any of that, I set it up so they can only make the right decision. If they make a decision, say the wrong decision, whatever, that I don't like, and they blow up, it happens. Okay, I failed. I made that wrong decision by keeping them in this place too long, by moving them too close to the dog, by not giving them enough release of pressure. And pressure is not, physical pressure, but like spatial pressure.
I could have corrected him by tugging on the leash, but instead I waited. He made the right decision.
Oh, good for you. You could have tugged on him, popped him with a leash, and caused pain. Or choked him, as he's been gagging this whole time. But you didn't. Wow. Dude, this is simple. This is, simple training. So don't even try to reinforce this about correction. You should be able to take him in an area and train with him, and you don't have to worry about him making a wrong decision. Because he's nowhere close to being over threshold with the dog. You got lucky that you didn't have, the dog got lucky too, that they were smarter than you, that they were able to make the decision to not get a correction. I swear, people want to make correction because people somehow get off on correcting other animals or people because they've been corrected themselves. If you've ever been at a new job and someone is just constantly on your ass, and then you get the level up and you have the new guy or girl or person, do you feel at all like you want to get on them all the time? Or do you remember what it felt like and you actually try to help them and not just go after them all the time? No, this is wrong. You're doing this wrong. Do it better, blah, blah, blah. Because it doesn't help anything. Break the cycle.
And then I rewarded him.
Okay, lovely. So that's the end of his video. You didn't reward him for squat. So that was the end of his video. He's working with a tiny little dog. Like, you do this with a Shiba, and they will fight back. That's why you don't see a lot of people doing this without shock collars and e-collars and protective, wear and gear and all that. Because certain breeds teach you to have respect for them as an individual and have respect for animals. I'm eternally grateful for Adonis for fighting back when I was being stupid. Even though I didn't realize, and I was trusting stupid trainers. He didn't care I was trying. He didn't care that I loved him still. He cared what I did, not what my intentions were. And I'm saying this bluntly, but it doesn't, just because I say this the way I do, it doesn't mean that you're a terrible person. I mean, I used to, I still do, and I probably always will feel bad for, not seeing him as who he was sooner. That he's a wonderful dog. And that he didn't need to be perfect. I don't need to be perfect. But every time we make a mistake, if we can learn from it and do better the next time, I've learned 1,000 different things that I would rather do better. I've learned 1,000 different things that I can do better, and I will do better, for my next dog, cat, gecko, whatever it is. If you're learning and you're moving forward and trying to better yourself, and you make mistakes, it's okay. I mean, mistakes happen, but just try to hold yourself accountable and say, what can we do better next time? How can we help? And you may not have all the answers. I'm not saying everybody has to be perfect. If you don't have the answers, look for help. Look for someone who may be able to give you some answers. So anyway, that's this video. So thanks for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. I hope you all are doing well. I'll be doing some Beckman videos and some horsey videos as well. Say hi to your little critters. Say how you do for me. Give them some kind of lovin'. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.